I've been saying this for a long, long time. There are talkers and then there are doers. And so anyone can come up with all kinds of ideas. Ideas are cheap. Anyone
Right.
can talk all day long, learn from that failure, reflect upon it. I talk about this a lot, is keep a journal. Keep a journal of failures. Keep a journal of successes for that matter. And so that when it comes a time to reflect, we go to the pages of days of success and what went well on those days of success. But to also keep us humble and know that failure is inevitable, we go to the pages of failure and we read. We read when and where and why so that we don't make those mistakes again. But truly, someone that is able to take the initiative, work through experiments, that takes a special person.
Welcome to Vibrant Publishers podcast, where we bring you engaging interviews with distinguished experts across diverse fields. Today, we are joined by Ron Poff, who has over 25 years of experience in new product development and international business, and brings a wealth of experience in global marketing, purchasing, and operations management. As a co-founder and advising partner of the Prime Factory, a marketing agency in Blacksburg, he continues to contribute as an entrepreneur. Ron, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, I would like to start by asking you to share a bit about your extensive background in new product development and international business development.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in the first 18 years of my career was in supply chain. And that supply chain opportunities included some military background, but also working for a startup division. And, anytime that you are in supply chain, you got to find the right suppliers. And then I worked for, a couple of companies that were very innovative and had an entrepreneurial spirit built inside the organizations. And so in that role as the supply chain leader, I was able to work cross-functionally with engineering and quality and manufacturing, along with the customer-facing side, understanding what our customer needs were. And so that enabled me to travel all over the world to find the right contract manufacturers and partners in order to get new products to market for our customers, which obviously helped to grow our businesses at the end of the day. And then I, over the years, had the opportunity to switch over to sales and marketing. And so the last 12 years of my career, I spent, working very closely with customers, understanding their problems and needs, where they wanted to go in the marketplace. And quite frankly, partnering with them on a strategic side in order to provide the right products and services along the way. And so I've been very fortunate throughout my 30-year career to be sort of in the arena of product development and corporate innovation.
All right, thank you for sharing that. Now, I'd like to talk to you about entrepreneurship and what key qualities or traits do you think are a successful entrepreneur possesses?
Yeah, I think, it's interesting. I think it can, it depends on each person. I think everyone brings unique qualities, but, if we had to kind of look at some areas that are key qualities and traits, I think curiosity comes to my mind. Someone that, looks at a certain problem or a certain situation and can see a better way of doing things. And that curiosity then has a passion, right? So you have a passion to want to make change. Change is not easy. And then, certainly someone that can take the initiative. As my students know and people that know me, I've been saying this for a long, long time. There are talkers and then there are doers. And so anyone can come up with all kinds of ideas. Ideas are cheap. Anyone can talk all day long and they can point out problems. They can dump problems on people's desks and things like that. But truly someone that is able to take the initiative, work through experiments, get some duct tape and popsicle sticks and make a prototype and be able to share what their thoughts are, that takes a special person to be able to do that. So I think certainly in addition to the courage, passion, purpose, and initiative, is also just someone that's willing to solve problems at the end of the day.
Right, got it. Now, I usually ask to our guests who have had experiences in both fields of industry as well as academics, that which part do you prefer or enjoy more? Is it the academic side or the industry side?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is this is my third career, as I outlined before, supply chain, sales, and marketing, and now teaching. I gave up, a very nice career and loved every minute of my career, but I think I got addicted to teaching. And why did I get addicted to teaching? Was there's a passion and a purpose. I have the opportunity now to meet young people, ranging from age 17 and up, who want to learn, who want to understand various perspectives and diversity of thoughts and opinions. And so, which one do I like the most? I think it's a combination, because without my industry experience, quite frankly, I wouldn't be in the classroom, right? But at this point in my career, I absolutely love teaching. I love being a part of this university. I love being a part of a student's journey. In addition to that, I think academics enable us to make connections. And so I can be a bridge to students to alumni, students to industry, obviously students to knowledge, and in many, many other ways as well. And so that's what brings me to work every day. I arrive on campus at 6:30, 6:45 every day, and I'm usually here for a long, long day, and I wouldn't change any part of that. So I think a long answer to that is I love both. I love being a part of industry. I still am a part of industry. It's part of my role as a professor of practice. But certainly seeing the smiles and watching the journey and the maturation of students is what brings me in every day.
Right. Correct. Thank you for sharing that. Now, entrepreneurship can sometimes be demanding. How important do you think is mindfulness and well-being for entrepreneurs? And what practices do you recommend to maintain a healthy work-life balance?
Yeah, this is, work-life balance. And let me preface this. Anyone that knows me knows that I am not a good work-life balance person. So this question, I probably need to answer this question in the mirror every day. I never have been very good at a work-life balance. And I'm not sure why that is. On a personal note, I think I enjoy work. I love work. I always feel like I'm behind and I need to do more for other people. I'm a servant leader, so I feel like I need to step up and help others. But more, and I just preface that because, again, I'm probably not the expert when it comes to work-life balance. But if I take when I certainly have students or have other entrepreneurs that ask me this question, and I can give an objective answer, and that is, find things that you're able to do and enjoy. If that means take, for an hour or two and go on a nice long walk and be able to clear your head, be able to come back refreshed. And during that walk is, maybe it's no music, maybe it's just you and nature that's going on. I mean, that's what I do sometimes to kind of get grounded. I think, it's also finding the family and friends and people that you can get energy from. Not people that actually evaporate your energy, right, or zap your energy. In fact, I would say avoid those type of people, but certainly those that you can feel good, positive energy back. That could be through mentorships. It could be through close friends or colleagues, classmates. And so sometimes it's a matter of working with them. And so I think in the end, the best answer is find what you as an entrepreneur, you as a person, enjoy and make you smile and bring you happiness and brings you energy. And that could be in a number of things: reading a book, going on a walk, going on a jog, taking a hike through the mountains, spending time with friends and family. I think, it may sound simple, but it's creating those moments that matter as often as you can, I think is the important part.
Got it. Now, my next question is regarding risk taking in entrepreneurship, and how can entrepreneurs effectively manage and mitigate risks?
Yeah, what's interesting is I've said for a long time that entrepreneurship is not for everyone, but entrepreneurship is for anyone that's willing to take calculated risks. So there's a difference between just taking risk and taking calculated risks.
Right.
We all know that in entrepreneurship, there's ambiguity, there's uncertainty. We don't know what we don't know as entrepreneurs. And so, what are ways to mitigate those risks is, number one is listening. The old adage of talking to customers. Well, I sort of flip that around and say, listen to the market, listen to customers, ask the right questions, never assume, what the outcome could be or should be or what you would want it to be, but rather take the time, develop a list of questions, and sit back and listen. And learn to listen and listen to learn is the critical part of that. I think the more that we can gain knowledge and gain intelligence from the marketplace, certainly the better off that we can be. More risks are mitigated through that. There's obviously tools and resources now, the business model canvas, the BMC, which is a wonderful tool that enables an entrepreneur to think about the value proposition from day one and understand the partners on the left-hand side and the customer channels and the face of what the product and or service would look like on the right-hand side. And so, it's navigating the marketplace. It's understanding that failure is potential and failure is perhaps inevitable. And that the great part of entrepreneurship is it's iterative. And so fail fast, fail forward, fail cheap. That we all know that in entrepreneurship, it's a cliche, but practice it. Again, words are just words. It's the practice and the actions that actually matter in entrepreneurship. So, I think it is understanding those risks and willing to take those risks. So again, it's not for everyone, but it is for anyone that has initiative and willing to fail and willing to take those risks and take initiative to move forward.
Good. You mentioned that one should be ready to fail fast. And, I did read this quote from Phil Knight as well, that one should, fail fast and quickly move forward to the next step. Could you elaborate what failing fast means and that what exactly are your views on it?
Yeah, well, to me, it's something that's been around for centuries. I think it's only been in the most recent years. Certainly, Phil Knight at Nike brought this to mind, and I think we have to talk about this in the classroom. That there should be a safe place to fail. Fail. I'm not talking about failing on an exam because you didn't study. I'm not talking about failing to make a payment because you just didn't want to. I'm talking about really putting work and effort into something, moving forward. So you got to take initiative. There's people that will stand back and not ever make a decision, right? They get paralyzed in their analysis, or they're kind of scared, and so they never move forward. That to me can be failure. So not doing anything is a form of failure. But those that do move forward and then find out that maybe the product was not quite what they thought it was going to be, or there was a data integrity, or there was some flaws in their data, but we learn from that. That's the key. That's the whole frame of that fast, fail forward. meaning learn from everything we do. We certainly learn a lot when we fail. Now, the other key part of that is to reflect, is to take time out of our day and reflect on what went well. Do it again. What would that look like? How would we move forward? And so it's the self-management, self-growth part of failure. And so again, I don't mean to fail just to fail. I mean to learn from that failure, reflect upon it. I talk about this a lot, is keep a journal. Keep a journal of failures. Keep a journal of successes, for that matter. And so that when it comes a time to reflect, those moments that we talked about earlier, moments that matter, and you need to find work-life balance. Sometimes it's kickstarting the day, or when we're low, we go to the pages of days of success and what went well on those days of success. But to also keep us humble and know that failure is inevitable, we go to the pages of failure and we read when and where and why, so that we don't make those mistakes again. I think the other part of fail fast, fail forward is to share it. So when I talk about having a safe place to fail, I think that is important as a community and as a society, that we enable that. So again, I think it's important for us to talk about, because everyone, wants to succeed in each and everything we do. We know that the path to success is not a straight line, and there's going to be failure along the way, and to accept that. I think, as a society, if we don't do that, we're putting too much pressure on one another, and it, quite frankly, is creating the sense that failure is the end of all, right? And we have to stop what we're doing, and we got to redo everything. And so, I think that, to me, is what fail fast, fail forward means, is learn and grow.
Thank you for sharing your views. And personally, I think I would also use this new concept of journal of failures, and I encourage the audience to, practice it, practice journaling this as well. That's a new concept and a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would like to talk about the next topic, which is corporate innovation. How do you define corporate innovation, and why is it crucial for growth and sustainability of businesses today?
Yeah, I mean, and I think corporate innovation could be defined in so many ways. And quite frankly, we could probably spend a whole nother podcast or two talking about just corporate innovation. But corporate innovation, to me, is, looking at a current process or a product or people, and finding new ways to do a current situation. That's one, one example. So, a lot of times when we use the word innovation, our minds immediately think of a technical product. It must involve engineering or something. Corporate innovation could be just looking at an accounting process, doing a mapping of the process, finding more efficient ways, perhaps, of doing that, and reducing the cost or finding synergies. That could be corporate innovation. It could be going out on the manufacturing floor and doing a mapping of the process, from point A to the point it ships out the door. So the incoming raw materials through the, through the entire operational process, the transformation of those goods until it is shipped out the door. There's a process in that. And so anytime that we can find better ways and make improvements along the way, that could be corporate innovation. Corporate innovation could be looking at a product line and, finding new markets, finding new areas where those products could be implemented. You mentioned Mar-Bal. I worked at that. It's a family-owned company, started in 1970. It's certainly over 50 years old. There's a product line there that's as old as the company. And corporate innovation is still being, I worked on that product during my 10 years there. And, we found new places to put that. I mean, electrical vehicles, Well, let's put the product in electric vehicles, wind turbines, solar panels. And so a product line that is older than myself is still growing top line revenue and still benefiting customers. And honestly, there's been new products and new innovation within that product line. So, corporate innovation, again, encompasses a lot in the corporate world. I think the important part of this conversation is that it does take an entrepreneurial spirit, right? Does take this can-do, fail fast, fail forward within a company in order to bring about corporate innovation. So, that's one thing that we talk about in our academic journey here with our entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology major, is that entrepreneurship certainly is in a startup. We all think about that. But entrepreneurship can be deployed in an organization, whether it's 1 year old or it's 50 plus years old in the example I just gave. And companies can find new products, new markets, new people, new processes, and so on through this entrepreneurial spirit within a company.
Correct. And what emerging trends do you foresee in corporate innovation as well as in the field of entrepreneurship in the coming years?
Yeah, I think with our population, a global population starting to slow down,
Right.
I think we have to start looking at the workforce, and certainly artificial intelligence is going to be an important piece.
Right.
AI is, all you got to do is pick up pick up your favorite news or your favorite social media, and AI is everywhere. I think some people are still trying to figure out how to spell AI because they don't understand what it all means, but certainly that is going to play as an emerging trend. I would be silly if I didn't acknowledge that. But I would say beyond that, it gets into automation. Again, with the global population beginning to slow down, and we're going to have the fewest number of, for example, 18-year-olds entering the workforce. But yet there's going to be demand for certain products and services. So I could start to see machine learning. I could start to see robots being deployed in various aspects of our lives. I mean, you can go to a retail outlet here in North America and, ask, instead of going and asking a human, now there is a robot that you ask for a certain product, and the robot will lead you into that particular area. I think kiosks, which have been around, I think we'll see more of that as we move forward. In my last organization, we were a manufacturing organization where we needed physical bodies out on the floor to make certain products. Well, part of the corporate innovation that we brought about was putting robots, same task, sometimes mindless tasks, if you will. And we would deploy a robot. These robotic arms, ranged in price of $20,000 to maybe $50,000, depending on the sophistication, or the build of that. And let's be honest, a robot does not call in sick. A robot, doesn't fail a drug test, and a robot can be deployed in multiple areas. And so, when unemployment is very, very low, and when, companies are not able to find bodies to come into a manufacturing plant, this could be a very, very important aspect to deploy. So I think there's a right place, a right time for it. I mean, I'm sitting just 2 miles away from Virginia Tech's Transportation Institute, VTTI, who is doing a lot of research on autonomous vehicles, and so, we could start to see delivery trucks that are, no people, no humans are driving it. It's being driven, by a machine. So to me, that's where I see the next 5 to 10 years is not only how do we deploy this into our society, but how do we manage this in our society? because companies, for example, in this retail experience example that I just gave you, walking in and finding the robot and the robot takes you somewhere. Yeah, you're solving my initial, but do I feel welcomed? What's my experience? Do I feel like I'm wanted as a customer? Does it really help solve it in the end? So I think the other important part as entrepreneurs and as corporate innovators is, how do we as humans then manage all of this new technology, and how do we set the expectations for our customers and our clients in that particular part? So the interpersonal, how do you feel? What's the customer experience? I think will be an important emerging part of our lives as well.
Right. Got it. Now, I would like to talk to you about your role as a co-founder of the Prime Factory, which is a marketing and public relations agency. And how do you see the role of effective communication in building and maintaining a brand's reputation?
Yeah, this is something that, I think we could all practice. A brand is everything.
Right.
I feel like we have a chance to do it once, do it right, as a new product or as a new company. I think people watch, whether it's a small startup or a large multinational billion-dollar organization, people watch what's going on, what's being said, what's being done along the way. And so communication is very, very important. I mean, it goes back to something as simple as it should be integrated. What is being seen on the website should also resemble what's on social media. If they are saying that they're doing something, they need to be practicing that. They need to be living up to the values of who they are and what they're about. I mentioned earlier about passion and purpose. And I think companies, whether it's a one-person company or, again, hundreds of thousands of employees, is that they got to practice what they say, and they've got to be authentic in what they do. You don't talk about sustainability and not do it. If you're going to talk about sustainability, you need to exceed expectations when it comes to sustainability. If you're going to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, then you better have a program that includes the belonging of people in a diverse, equitable, inclusive environment. And so I think one of the important parts is, you said it right, it's the communication side of it, but it's practice what you say you're doing and being authentic about it. And don't do it just to check a box. I think these days of greenwashing and DEIB, activities, you really have to champion these things. And I think it starts at the top, and it is a very all-involved, all-in type of mentality and mindset. And again, when we talk about things starting at the top, and then it has to also be something that is grassroots, and that there's energy on the top and the bottom, left to right, in all of that. And I know that sounds very cliche, but we're seeing organizations all the time that kind of fail at just simple communications, and being a part of it. So one of the awesome parts about being a small business owner is that I get to work with other small business owners. I get to work with regional, national, international companies. And, one thing that I've learned over the last 30 years is, no matter if you're a small company or you're a big company, a lot of the challenges are the same. And what is that? And that's just treating people with respect, right? It's about listening to people and understanding what their needs are. It's a big word right now in society is empathy. And one of the things that I talk about in class is, empathy is a wonderful word, but practice it, right? Take it from a noun and make it a verb at the end of the day. And so empathize with people, and entrepreneurs should be doing that. I'm a big believer that entrepreneurship is not about products. All right. It could be, But entrepreneurship, if we have a true listening mindset and a true customer-centric mindset, it's about solving problems and helping people, which is empathy, right? It's solving problems and helping people. And when we solve problems and help people, we find opportunities that may lead us to products or services. And or it may lead us to say, we're not interested, but I know someone who might be, right, along the way.
Got it. Thank you for the answer. Now, my final question to you is, what are your key takeaways that you would like to leave our audience with regarding entrepreneurship, innovation, and building a successful business?
Yeah, I think we all have to continue to learn. I think anything that we do in business and in life, it's about continuous improvement. It's about lifelong learning. There's an old saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, find a new room. And I think that holds true for entrepreneurs. And I would say, too, is never let our ego get in the way of what we are trying to do. Be who we should be true to ourselves. I think the other part is put people first. Business needs to get back to that of putting people first. I think when we do that, it opens our minds up to opportunistic situations and gives us certainly challenges. I mean, anytime we're working with people, there's going to be challenges, but we can't be scared of that. And so I think, whether it's entrepreneurship as a startup, whether it's corporate innovation and entrepreneurship and bringing new products, is to understand that we don't know what we don't know. And there are going to be more challenges than there are success. Failure is inevitable. And you know what? Buckle up and have a fun ride doing it and enjoy doing it along the way. And, I just mentioned lifelong learning. So the important part is never stop learning, and that means attending conferences, going to seminars, listening to our competitors. I think a lot of times the big part for entrepreneurship for me is more about collaboration and cooperation than it is about being competitive. Yeah, we're all competitive, but when we respect and have a mutual respect for one another in each and everything we do, we learn along the way. And then I think the last thing, and I would be remiss if I didn't say this, is to really understand and respect diverse opinions and diverse thoughts. When everyone looks like the same, then we're probably too homogenistic and our thoughts are all going to be the same. So surround yourself with people that look different, sound different, act different than yourself, and be open to learn, listen to learn what you may not know, and be able to have that cultural humility to take each day as a learning lesson. And so it goes back to that journaling, right? Write down those things that people have shared with you, no matter where they're from or what they look like. Respect it and embrace it along the way.
Correct. And on both of these topics, we thank you for sharing your valuable insights and your presence here today. And
well, thanks for having me. It's certainly an honor and a privilege, and I'm humbled to be asked. So thanks for listening.
So to all our audience, we are grateful for your participation, and we trust that you found the podcast enjoyable and thought-provoking. Once again, Ron, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another.